Okay, this is the beginning of the Personnel Committee on June 16th, 2020 for the City of Green Bay. We'll start with a roll call. Alder Galvin is here. Alder Dorf.
Here.
Alder Corpus Dax.
Present.
Alder Johnson.
Here.
All right, everyone had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any questions or concerns or changes?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, has everyone been able to review the minutes from our last meeting, and do they have any questions or concerns?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. On to regular business. Consideration with possible action on the request to fill the following replacement positions and all subsequent vacancies resulting from internal transfers. I take these one by one. So we'll start out with A, the legal assistant for claims in the law department. Does anyone have any questions for staff on this? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Second, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Now on to the position of a police captain. Does anyone have any questions for staff on this?
Yes, don't need them.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, and let me say losing Captain Laux is going to be a big hit to the PD. I'm sure whoever replaces him will do a fine job, but John has been a real rock in that department the entire time he's been there. Someone I think we're going to greatly miss his integrity and his devotion to his job. So on to the replacement for that lieutenant. Instead of going with a lieutenant, they're going to promote someone to sergeant. Does anyone have questions for staff on this? I'll entertain a motion then.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those say aye.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. On to item number 2, consideration with possible action to amend Chapter 23 FMLA Section 2 to allow first responders paid sick leave to extend through September 30th, 2020. Joe, do you have any information? You can just kind of shake this down to a few sentences or paragraphs.
Sure, make it pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so we approved this policy, I think back in April, and it was just leave for the police officers and firefighters because the federal law said we could exempt them. So we created our own policy for them. And that was going to expire in June 15th. I've talked to both the police and fire chief. I've talked to the unions, and we all agreed to extend it through September 30th. So at this point, we've had about it's about $18,000 that's been spent for PD for COVID leave, which would be like any exposure to someone who had COVID-19. There was about $100,000 spent for childcare leave in the police department. And then for the fire department, there's been about $35,000 spent for COVID exposure. And then it's been about less than $1,000 for childcare leave for the fire department. It's about 10 people every pay period that uses childcare leave in the police department. So both police and fire chief feel like it's not affecting the services, that's not affecting the overtime or staffing levels. So they feel comfortable moving forward with it.
All right. And I would have to say too, with the makeup of the police department now and the shift differences between that and the fire department, it's, I think, a lot harder for the officers to find that daycare since they've closed down. And several of our officers their spouses or significant others are on the department. So, you know, it can cause real problems when it comes to that child care leave. So if no one else has any questions, I'll entertain a motion on this.
I would love to move to approve this. Oh, go ahead.
Director Falls, just help me understand if you could. You had thrown out those numbers for you know, the child care and then of course the wages. Is that part of those department budgets, or where is that coming from?
Well, I guess it would be, yeah, I would have to defer to maybe the police department, but I don't know if we have that answer right now for the committee. It would just be part of the salaries, and it would, I guess it wasn't budgeted because it's this is a new policy that was put in place to be consistent with general employees. So I don't know how it's affecting overtime or any additional cost. It would just be, it'd be kind of like a sick leave or vacation that's being paid out. So it could affect accruals down the road.
Okay, and that's kind of, I guess, getting at the heart of my questions. I'm trying to understand whether it's these or, the same policy that applies to general staff. Are those shortfalls that we're going to have to plug in our budget for this year, or are those somehow being absorbed?
I think it could be a little bit of both. I think it just depends, like if, I guess it's a short-term versus long-term issue. It's very possible that if it's not creating overtime, that it could not be impacting budget this year. But if people are keeping their sick leave and vacation and not using that for this childcare leave or COVID leave, that could affect the payouts in the long run.
Okay. And so you said on the PD, you said it was $100,000 in childcare?
Yeah, so it's about 70,000 up to date for salary. If you include fringe benefits, it's about to 100. So it's about 8 people every pay period that use it. So there's about 28 people have been approved, but only about maybe 8 people use it every pay period.
Okay, thank you.
All right, did we have a motion?
I move to approve.
All right, now we'll need a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. On to informational. Human Resources Department will begin recruiting for the Diversity Inclusion Coordinator as approved in the 2020 city budget. Staff.
Yeah, so this position was approved in the November budget hearing. Let me back up. It was approved to be hired in June to have an offset of no increase to the HR budget. So we've decided to push it back as much as we can to try and create some savings. So we're hoping to hire this position either mid to late August or early September.
Good plan.
Any questions?
I move to approve this recruitment.
And I think you can just receive and place it on file.
Oh, you can? Oh,
Yep.
Okay, there's no action. Okay. I move to receive and place on file.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, do we have any questions for staff on the report of routine personal actions for regular employees? All right, entertain a motion to receive and place that on file.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and that passes unanimously. Our next meeting is also scheduled for July 14th, 2020. I might be in an airplane at that time. I'm not sure. We're waiting to see what happens at our destination, if we're going to be going or not. So if it does become an issue where I'm gone, I'll try and get someone to fill in. If it doesn't look like we'll make a quorum at that time.
But
Otherwise,
there's the 3 of us. If there's the 3 of us, we'll be fine.
I'll check in before. If I am going to go, I'll check in and make sure. And obviously, if we're still Zooming then, or it's available, I'll try and Zoom in at that time too. So,
Sure.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. Oh
I
yeah.
think Alder Johnson
All those
seconded.
in favor say aye.
Aye.
I was just so shocked at how quickly this.
It's just too short of a meeting. Too
Yeah, well.
short. Aye.
I got a grandchild that needs
Hi,
playground.
everyone.